Bows, TKOs, yeah. Bows, TKOs, we got bows, TKOs, yeah. Bows, TKOs, we got bows, TKOs, yeah. Bows, TKOs.
Bows and TKOs. We are live, episode 133, coming at you from the Valley. I'm your host, Shane Gillette, for this weekly MMA podcast, streaming anywhere you listen to podcasts with the videos on YouTube. I just came back from a work event in Austin, Texas. What a good time it was. Couple nights on 6th Street. And I had to go early. I was lucky enough to attend Kill Tony in person. Got damn near front row seats. What a scene that was. It was last week's episode that had Adam Ray as Dr. Phil, Greg Fitzsimmons, and Sal Visano as guests. 3-guest panel. The Dr. Phil appearance. The bucket pulls are great. We had a lot of great comedians on there. And then Sunday, right before the week that I went there, Joe Rogan announced a Rogan and Friends on Tuesday night. So I got some of my coworkers to join me. It was Joe Rogan, Tony Hinchcliffe, Duncan Trussell, Ron White. Fantastic setup. Came back on Friday last week. Got to see my favorite guy, Ari Maddie. Best out of all of them, although it was a full show for him. I got to see Dedrick Flynn at the Improv recently. So I've seen the whole Kill Tony cast of late. Went to the Comedy Mothership. What an awesome, intimate setting that place is. If you haven't been, you go to Austin, Texas. I highly recommend. But regardless, let's jump in and talk MMA. We have some fights that have been announced, and then we will recap last weekend's Apex card. We have Beloyi Oki taking on Manuel Sousa March 14th. Then we have Asu Almabayev out of his fight against Brandon Moreno. Insert Yoni Kavanaugh February 28th for the main event in Mexico. Pretty insane jump up for the young stud Yoni, especially coming off a loss. He was originally booked to fight Charles Johnson, but Charles Johnson now will take Yoni's spot against Bruno Silva March 14th. Hate that this is in the Apex, but we get Andre Fili against Jose Delgado. Absolute banger. And then on March 28th in Seattle, we get Terrence McKinney taking on Kyle Nelson. On April 4th, we get Edmund Shabazian taking on Jungyong Park. Fantastic fight. And we get to see Tofik Musayev. I loved watching Tofik in other promotions. He got wrestled in his last fight. You know, he's a kickboxer. But we get to see him again in the UFC against Samuel Sanchez. And then on April 11th for UFC 327, we get Kevin Holland and Randy Brown. A fight that I've been teasing for a while, saying they should make that happen. This Thursday, we also have UFC BJJ 5. Mikey Musumeci is taking on an opponent for the title. And Ronaldo Souza Jr. also looking to defend his title. I tried with the UFC BJJ, not liking it a lot. I'll probably watch those two main events. If I get more into it, I will break it down more week to week as they have their events. We also had the return of PFL. It was an all right card. Again, I tell you how I feel about the PFL. But we had Luke Traynor with a round 1 submission via guillotine over Rob Wilkinson. Taylor Lapilus with a round 3 TKO over Kasum Kasumov. We had Puya Ramani with a round 2 submission via arm triangle over ex-UFC athlete Carl Williams. We had Salamat Isbulayev, who's 10-0, with a round 1 TKO over Jesus Pinedo, who won the $1 million tournament recently. Watch out for Isbulayev. They're very high on him. He trains with Khabib and team. Then we had Ramazan Kuramogedov, undefeated 14-0 fighter, get a unanimous decision against Shamil Musayev. Very close fight. That was a good fight. And then, of course, in the main event, Usman Nurmagomedov, slight work with a round 3 submission over Alfie Davis. No surprise there. I hope he comes to the UFC. But this Saturday, UFC Vegas 113, I went 10-2. We're staying hot. Overall, I'm 805 wins, 398 losses, more than doubled up that loss column. 12 no contests and draws. On the year, plenty of room to double up as well. I am 25-8. Let's keep that going. Got to hit some of these parlays. I'm always one fight off, I swear. To recap this card, we had another shit show on the scales with 4 weight misses, 2 of them on short notice fights, but we didn't have any fight cancellations, and then in one fight, both women missed weight. I thought the prelims were okay. They were decision heavy. The 6 main card fights started hot, but kind of ended in a meh result with a lot of grappling, especially in the Kuniev and Horiguchi fights. I am going to recap this a 4 out of 10. I had previewed it a 6 out of 10. Some good fights we will not break down. We had Jacob Wicklatz with a round 3 submission via guillotine choke over Muin Gafurov. I do think Muin was on his way to win this fight. Jacob got the submission with about 2 seconds remaining. Buzzer beater submission. I thought he lost rounds 1 and 3. But then we had Nikolai Veretennikov with a round 1 TKO over Nico Price. Nikolai came in on short notice in this fight, filling in for Jose Henrique, and put on a great performance. I do expect this to be the end for Nico in the UFC. And then we had Said Nurmagomedov pull out. Gianni Vasquez stepping in on a few days' notice. He fought his heart out. I thought he looks like he belongs in the UFC after going through a ton of adversity, getting his ass kicked in the first round, came back strong and damn near won the fight. So a lot of crazy shit happening in this fight. We'll kick it off with the prelims. We had Wang Kong with a unanimous decision over Eduardo Mora. As expected, Eduardo went right after Kong with their offensive wrestling, but Wang landed some shots and battled back up. With about a minute left in round 1, Wang knocked Eduardo down and had her rocked. She was pretty much rocked until the end of the round, but survived. Round 2, Mora got another takedown early and was able to control Wang away from the cage, which was helping. She was actually able to get her back and attempt some submissions, but Wang stayed calm and tried whatever she could to escape, but no prevail, even though she had a really deep rear naked choke in. So I had it 1-1 going into round 3, and then round 3, Wang was in total control, beating Eduardo up with her striking, defending her takedowns well, and she seemed to be gassing out. Wang even got Eduardo's back and was close to getting a submission, but you could tell she needs to work on her jiu-jitsu. She had a rear naked choke kind of to the side. She was all bloodied up and exhausted. It's like, get that sucker under there. It's got to be slick with the blood. She couldn't get it, but she got the decision victory. Big win for Wang Kong. Now, statistically, Wang landed 147 total strikes, only 39 significant. She had a submission attempt, 3 minutes and 11 seconds of control time, and a knockdown. And Eduardo landed 40 total strikes, 12 of them significant. She had 3 takedowns and 12 attempts, not very good percentage, a submission attempt, and 8 minutes and 6 seconds of control time. So Wang extends that winning streak to 3. She is 5-1 in the UFC. She moves up 1 spot in the rankings to number 11. And Eduardo ends her 2-fight winning streak. She starts a new losing streak. She is 4-2 in the UFC. So what's next? Wang, after the fight, called out Tracy Cortez. I'm all for it. Let's book that. And for Eduardo, how about a fight with J.J. Aldrich? Moving on. We had Danil Donchenko with unanimous decision over Alex Morano. And this was one wild-ass fight. Danil, like I said last week, just brings violence and gets right after it, man. I mean, for a young, raw fighter, he has a ton of potential as a striker. He came out and smoked Alex's lead leg really bad, even got a leg knockdown. And Danil clearly was much faster. He landed big shot after big shot, but Alex wouldn't go away. Alex tried to come back and throw some big shots of his own, but not many of them landed. When the fight would end up in the clinch, he did land some nice knees and elbows once they were separated as well. Danil actually dropped Alex at the end of the round, but somehow Alex was able to stay alive. He was busted, bloodied up. I feel like they're letting these fights go a little longer now that there's a $25K bonus for a finish. But he had to deal with a bunch of hammer fists and ground and pound. Again, I thought the fight should have actually been called, but Alex actually got up somehow, started yelling at Danil, and even threw like this wild spinning up elbow that actually caught Daniil clean, but he was all right. I thought it was potentially even a 10-8 round to start the fight. Well, round 2, it started out a little slower. Alex was showing how badly his leg was beat up, switching stances, could barely walk on it. And Alex was never able to get his offense going because of his leg. And Daniil was more measured, but when he did throw in this round, he landed big. I had him up 2 rounds, potentially a 10-8 round. So Alex needed a knockout. And the fact that it even went to round 3 is pretty crazy to say that Alex made it this far, because Alex was just surviving. I mean, Danchenko landed another big shot with 30 seconds remaining to easily win this fight. Daniil didn't have to do too much after round 1, but I do have to say, what a display of heart and determination from Morano. A big win for the young Danchenko, brutal loss for the veteran Morano. It was actually already announced this week that the UFC will not renew Alex Morano's contract. Hate to see it. I felt like that display should have earned him another fight. They give Contender Series guys fights with the show of heart. Give the guy another shot. He's been there, taking a lot of fights. Statistically, Alex landed 48 total strikes, 40 of them significant. Daniil landed 134 total strikes, 100 of them significant, with a knockdown and 2 minutes and 20 seconds of control time. So Daniil extends that winning streak to 6, 2-0 in the UFC. Alex extends his losing streak to 4. He hasn't won since April of 2024. I figured Alex would get another shot. Best of luck to you. I hope he gets to sign with another promotion. But for Daniil, I think he'll get a step up. I think Chaos Williams would be the fight to make. Moving to the main card, we had Dustin Jacoby with a round 2 TKO over Julius Walker. Thank the baby Jesus on this one. I'm in a MMA Twitter group that does a bunch of bets throughout the year. One of the challenges was the Gauntlet Challenge, where each week you have to do some crazy sort of picking, and if you make it, you move on. This week there was only about 5 people left, and you had to pick which round a fighter would win in. A lot of people picked McCall to win in round 1, which we'll get to. It almost happened, but it didn't, so they all got eliminated. And I was the only one to take just Dustin Jacoby for round 2. So on my $30 entry fee, I won $600. High five, hallelujah. Looking at this fight, I just figured Julius was too inexperienced for Jacoby, and I was correct. I also assumed Julius would try to grapple early, and he did. He had success in round 1. He was relentless with his effort, but when the fight was standing, Dustin's kickboxing experience was clearly too much for him. Round 2, it was really all Dustin. He had Julius tired and was teeing off on Julius, who just kind of accepted standing in front of him flat-footed. He didn't come back for takedown attempts or didn't try to have good movement to not make it easy for Dustin to track him down. This was another kind of weird non-knockout call, as Julius was rocked clearly before they called the fight. The ref kept it going. He stayed alive for a while. Dustin kept pouring it on, landed some head kicks, landed some hooks. It was clearly time to call the fight. He was knocked out up against the cage, eyes back. Yeah, it could have been called earlier. Again, maybe with this $25K bonus, they're trying to extend the fights. Statistically, Dustin landed 47 total strikes, 42 of them significant. He had a knockdown and 59 seconds of control time. And Julius only landed 12 total strikes, 7 significant. He was 3 for 7 in takedowns with 2 minutes and 47 seconds of control time. Now, Dustin extends his winning streak to 3. He is 4-3 since 2023. He enters the rankings at number 14. And Julius starts a new losing streak and moves to 1-2 in the UFC. So what's next? I think Dustin and Zhang Mingyang is the fight to make. And for Julius, how about a rebound against Tuco Tacos? I think that makes sense. Then in the bantamweight division, I figured we would see a display of martial arts, and oh boy, did we. We had Farid Basharat with a split decision victory over Gene Matsumoto, and both men just showed how skilled and well-rounded they were. This was a very fun fight to watch. If you haven't watched it back, go to Paramount Plus and check it out. The older fighter, Farid, came out aggressive, put Jean on his back foot, and he knew he couldn't let John come forward. He had to swarm him, and that paid off. Most of the round was Farid landing cleaner shots and leading the dance with his striking. He had John up against the cage with just over a minute left, and Matsumoto reversed him, tried for a double, picked him up, slammed him down, but although he got Farid down, he went right back up. So I did have it Farid 1-0 in round 1. His jab was really nice and clean. It was working every time John tried to close distance or was coming in for a shot attempt. He ate a nice straight jab to the mouth. Round 2 was a lot of the same, but John was a lot more aggressive with his wrestling. He was actually able to get some clean takedowns this time. But when he got takedowns, he wasn't able to do much damage with them. Farid made him pay for sloppy positions. It seemed like he was just kind of a step ahead everywhere the fight went. Farid landed some good shots and had John's face beat up with about a minute to go, but that had him up 2-0, which meant Matsumoto needed a finish. John came out swinging and throwing combos to start the round and basically pushed his combos into a takedown attempt, but Farid wasn't having it. The pace, the technicality of this fight, absolutely awesome. I mean, John was going for it. You love to see that in a young fighter. He's always gone for it. His motor is insane. But Farid was able to hang. His cardio stood up, and he was able to use John's aggression against him with the takedown. But John would not let that be his fate in this fight because he went back to work in the clinch, and he was throwing punches and bunches. I mean, John was so aggressive and offensive in the third round. I thought he won round 3 by volume, although he didn't have a huge moment. But the gas take on these dudes, again, absolutely bonkers. I mean, I don't think either man lost stock in this fight. Jean showcased how talented and gritty he is, but Farid was the better man today. Breaking it down, Jean landed 111 total strikes, 76 of them significant, with 7 takedowns and 11 attempts. It's a ton of volume. Striking and wrestling at that volume, not many people can do it. And he had better than 50% on his takedowns, although a lot of them were Farid getting back up. And he also had 4 minutes and 40 seconds of control time. Farid landed 95 total strikes, 80 of them significant. He had 2 takedowns and 7 attempts, a reversal, and 2 minutes and 23 seconds of control time. So Farid extends that winning streak to 15. He stays undefeated. He's 6-0 in the UFC. And Jean starts a new losing streak. He is 4-2 in the UFC. But what's next? I have Farid taking on top 15 Montel Jackson. I think that's the fight to make. And for John, how about Damon Blackshear? Another amazing fight. Moving on, we had Mikhail Oleksiejczuk with a unanimous decision over Marc-Andre Barriault. This is fight of the night. 100 G's. I mean, this fight was a completely different story each round. Round 1, McCall was landing big shot after big shot and was clearly the quicker striker. Mark was struggling to close distance. As I said last week, I thought Mark would try and wrestle. McCall doesn't have great wrestling and get him up against the cage. He did not do that in round 1 and he paid for it. McCall was actually the one to initiate a takedown and actually got it on Mark. I couldn't believe it. He didn't keep Mark down, but it was just a crazy thing to see. It seemed like it was going to be a long night in the octagon for Mark, but round 2, Mark was able to get McCall in the clinch where he would land knees and elbows. McCall seemed to be rocked. He actually seemed to be slowing down, but towards the end of the round, Mark clearly had him rocked again, and he didn't swarm him. I think if he would have done that, he could have potentially got the finish, but it made it 1-1 for a winner-takes-all round 3. In round 3, both men were really slowing down. The only difference was that McCall was actually throwing shots. It seemed like Mark just didn't have enough in him, or he couldn't get close enough to throw them. And McCall was throwing shots, although not a lot of volume. Mark just, a winner takes all round 3, you got to throw. He just didn't do enough to do so. Brutal loss for Marc-Andre, but McCall is leveling up, and he keeps his nice win streak alive. Good for him. Statistically, McCall landed 143 total strikes, 140 of them significant. He had 1 takedown and 3 attempts. And Mark only landed 79 total strikes, 77 of them significant. But McCall extends his winning streak to 3. He is 4-4 since 2023. And Mark extends his losing streak to 2. He is 3-5 since 2023. Again, I think if Mark did what he did in round 2 the entire fight, I think he could have got a finish and easily won. Not too sure what was going on there. Maybe McCall was landing too big of shots, it rocked him, and he wasn't thinking straight. What's next? Well, I would like to see Mark take on Robert Brizek. And for McCall, I had him booked against Edmund Shabazian, but obviously that's not going to happen. So let's pick a matchup for him. It's crazy he's only 30 years old. I feel like he's been around forever. What is he, in middleweight? Yep. All right, if not Edmund. Shit, how about this one? Nursultan Ruzaboev. 2 strikers, that would be fun. I'm down to see it, so let's book him that. Moving on, we had the big dogs. Man, this really just sucked the air out of the room, and clearly the UFC didn't like it. So before we break down the fight, the UFC announced that they have actually released Jailton Almeida. I get it. They're clearly wanting to have people that are exciting to watch, part of the new UFC era. But this guy's a black belt, should be fighting at light heavyweight. They said they were going to go back to light heavyweight, but he got cut. This is too good a talent to cut from your roster. Same with Farid's brother, Javid. They cut him this week, even though he got the win. I think they're just trying to make a statement against grapplers that aren't doing enough and fighting to decisions. But this fight was so bad, I almost am not surprised. Regardless, Rizvan Kuniev got the unanimous decision over Jailton Almeida. Another fight I got wrong. I mean, the heavyweight division is down bad. We had two top-ranked heavyweights. Potentially, this could be the ugliest fight I've seen in a long time, in my opinion. It was brutal. Jailton had lazy takedown attempts. He could typically get away with those, but at heavyweight, a big dude like Rizvan, it just wasn't going to happen. I mean, Kuniev basically just pinned out Jailton up against the cage, leaned on him. Jailton was standing up top, basically trapping his arm with an overhook, and just accepted the position. It's like, okay, swim over, pop the hits out, circle, do something. He just sat there and trapped Rizvan. So Rizvan would sit there every once in a while, body shot, uppercut. That's all it was for 15 minutes. I mean, what the hell out? What the hell is going on? I guess Rizvan just wanted to tire Jailton up against the cage. You know, they were separated in the first round 2 times because they literally did nothing. Again, it would just be Rizvan with a knee, an uppercut, or 1 body shot. But Jailton just stood there. He kind of waited the whole fight in the clinch, never tried to swim and get off the cage. And Almeida never came forward with his own offense. Like I said, they announced that he was going to go back to 205. He's no longer with the UFC. I just don't know what was going through his head. But Rizvan did enough to get the win. Statistically, Jailton landed 50 total strikes, 31 of them significant. He was 0 for 8 in takedowns. I don't remember 8 takedown attempts. If so, they were terrible. He had 1 minute and 24 seconds of control time. And Rizvan landed 102 total strikes, 43 of them significant, with 6 minutes and 35 seconds of control time. So Rizvan starts a new winning streak. He moves to 1-1 in the UFC. He enters the rankings at number 6. And Jailton extends his losing streak to 2. He is 5-3 since 2023. So what's next? I think Rizvan and Sergey Pavlovich is the fight I'd book. And for Jailton, how about Nikita Krylov at 225? Oh yeah, he's cut. He ain't getting another shot. I don't know who else to put Rizvan on. I think he'd get destroyed by Sergey, but he won in the top of the division. He's top ranked now, so that's what I got. But moving on to the co-main, we had Kyoji Horiguchi with a unanimous decision over Amir Albazi. One thing was very clear here. Kyoji's speed made Amir frustrated. And it was like he was fighting out of quicksand. I was just surprised Horiguchi went for the first takedown attempt in this fight. He wasn't successful, but he was able to wear on Amir. For most of the fight, Kyoji circled a ton. He was really quick circling and would just pop in and out. He did land a shot when he was darting in and out, Amir really couldn't do anything. Amir did land a shot in round 1 that kind of caught Horiguchi off guard. I think it was just a nice jab that had him fall. He got right back up. And you're like, ooh, what's going on? But Kyoji was really landing nice combinations throughout the round. And then in round 2, he had Amir beat up. He had him wobbly on his legs. But Kyoji was patient. He didn't want to get overzealous to maybe get taken down. I'm guessing that's what it is. I would have liked to see him be a little bit more aggressive. But Kyoji, when he closed his distance, there was really nothing that Amir could do. I mean, round 3, Amir's corner told him, you need to sell out on the wrestling like a madman. And he tried, but Kyoji defended every time. Kyoji has really leveled up his grappling defense, and with his speed is a real problem in the division. I mean, Kyoji got separation, landed a nice left hook that had Albazi rocked again, but he didn't get the finish. He didn't really swarm him. Amir did try for some more takedowns up against the cage, but he wasn't successful. You know, I do think it'll be Van and Pantoja at this point, unless they announce a fight really soon. If they don't, I wouldn't be shocked if Kyoji gets a title shot because he's new blood in the division. A lot of the guys have fought each other. He's either one more fight away or he's ready for the title. I just hope we get to see Pantoja and Kyoji. That'd be fantastic. Statistically, Amir landed 20 total strikes, 16 of them significant. He was 0 for 7 in takedowns. I did not expect him to not get one of them. And he had 3 minutes and 50 seconds of control time. And Kyoji landed 99 total strikes, 73 of them significant. He was 0 for 2 in takedowns, but had 1 minute and 2 seconds of control time. So Kyoji extends that winning streak to 7 with the no contest. He's 2-0 in his UFC return, and he moves up 3 spots to number 5. Amir extends his losing streak to 2. He is 1-2 since 2023 and drops 1 spot to number 7. So what's next? I would book Kyoji against Manel Kopp. One more fight, he wins. He fights the winner of Van Pantoja. Unless Van fights Kopp, then maybe he waits. And for Amir, he could look to fight Alex Perez. I think that's the perfect fight for both of those guys. Moving on to the main event. How about that guy, Mario Bautista, one of the most underrated fighters in the UFC, with a round 2 submission via rear naked choke over Vinicius Oliveira. Performance of the night, 100 G's to Mario. You love to see it. Now, I figured Mario would win because of his wrestling, but I didn't think he would dominate Vinicius. Oliveira did not look like he did in his last fight against Kyler Phillips. I do think he's cutting way too much weight. They said he walked around at like 185, 190. I mean, you're weighing in at 136. That's going to catch up to you, although he's only like 30 years old. But he also said that he came in very compromised. He was injured. If that's the case, he probably just needed a paycheck. But man, regardless, Mario, again, one of the more underrated bantamweights in the world, had Oliveira only throw 8 strikes in the first round. That's pretty crazy. I mean, Vinicius actually initiated the grappling up against the cage in round 1, which is definitely a shocker. But he couldn't get the takedown. He gave Mario a window to reverse him and get a takedown of his own. Oliveira definitely accepted the position on his back, which was a little surprising as well. And Mario struggled to pass his legs. He had a butterfly guard, which usually when you're jiu-jitsu, your guard's over their hips and you're locking your feet. Butterfly guard, you basically just have the flat part of your foot up against their hips so you could lift them off. So he would lift them off, good flexibility. And then when he'd create distance, he would try to up kick them and have them out there. And Mario was kind of struggling to get past the legs because you don't want to get up kicked to the face. But it was weird that he was just accepting his position on back, trying to up kick him. That's not what I would expect. But maybe it was the injury. Regardless, Mario won round 1. And round 2, it was all Mario. I mean, it looked like Vinicius was already tired. Mario got an easy takedown after Vinicius came in like way over swinging on his strikes. And he didn't give up control and was able to get the back of Oliveira. Oliveira showed good defense. You know, he got the fight standing again. But when he was standing, his hands were down. That's my biggest gripe with him. At this level of this division, you can't be fighting with your hands down and looking sluggish. but Mario stayed right up in his face. When Vinicius went for a takedown, Mario quickly reversed him, got into a position to rain down some ground and pound and some elbows, and then he was able to get him in a crucifix position and really rain down some nasty damage. And then he took his back. Brilliant transition of how he did so. Was able to get the finish. Massive win for Mario Bautista. Vinicius, it's back to the drawing board. Looking at the stats, Mario landed 49 total strikes, 15 of them significant. He had 5 takedowns in 7 attempts, a submission attempt, and 5 minutes and 47 seconds of control time. And Vinicius landed 18 total strikes, 12 of them significant. He was 0 for 1 in takedowns with a minute and 39 seconds of control time. So Mario starts a new winning streak. He is 6-1 since 2023. He moves up 1 spot to number 8. And Vinicius ends his 6-fight winning streak and starts a new losing streak. He's 5-1 in the UFC, drops 1 spot to number 12. So what's next? I think Mario deserves the best option in the division, and I think Corey Sandhagen is the best fight for him to be able to get that doesn't get a fight booked. And for Vinicius, how about the winner of Rob Font and the Rahul Hosas Jr. fight? But hey, back to the Apex. Mario did work. Couple ugly-ass fights. McCall's leveling up. Jacoby, nice win. Watch out for Daniil Donchenko. Wayne Kong back at it. We get a weekend off, like I mentioned last week, back to Houston, Texas for a fight night. A fun, loaded fight night card headlined by number 3, Sean Strickland, and number 4, Anthony Hernandez. That's episode 133. I'm your host, Shane Gillette. See you next week.